Hello, 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 hello. Fingers crossed that is it. I've got green bars going up and down here according to my screen, so are we good to go? So I'm looking at about 4 different screens here, so you'll have to excuse me here. Just want to make sure, because we are doing this on Facebook as well as YouTube. Okay, so it's been a while since we got together last. A few things have happened, but we won't even bother going over them. It's Sunday night. We're going to just sit back, have a little fun. I have a little drink to keep me going. So I was recently in Florida. Had a quick jaunt to the Space Center. Like we've had a couple of space quizzes here before, and they're all good fun. So I picked up this little game. Oh, they're fading away. But basically it's 50 cards with space trivia on them. Okay, it's bit by, is that Petite Collage? I don't know if that's my French is any good, but that's who it is. I haven't opened them. It's still sealed. So I don't know the questions. I don't know what they're going to be like, or we're going to find out together. So that's why I haven't set it up like the previous space quizzes where you can actually interact and vote and there will be a winner, because I don't know the questions. But let's see. These cost $14.99 good US dollars. Let's see if it's worth the $14.99 good US dollars. Okay. Trying to get into this thing. Oh. Aha. Right. For those who like unboxings, that's the unboxing. Okay, so what we have here is a set of just like cards. That is meant to, let me see. No, I'm just being hidden. So let's see. So before I start, I just want to check everybody can hear me. Say yes, please. Good, good. Okay. So we're going to, I don't know if this is going to work. I was trying to get some of the, oh, there we go. Some of the messages up on screen. So if we can, we'll play about with that as well. I don't know how many things I can do at once, but we're going to soon find out. I just need to bring the chat back up, the YouTube chat, just to keep an eye on everybody. Okay, so here we go. Now, if you do know the answer, put it in the chat, and then we'll see if we can get some of these on screen as well, if you get it right or wrong. So, question 1 for 10 points. Oh, easy one to start off with. If you get this wrong, just close the door and go home. In which galaxy is the Earth located? In which galaxy is the Earth located? Oh, there's no point me showing. Oh, there we go. Maybe not. The green screen doesn't like that. So in which galaxy is the Earth located? I'm only going to give you 3 seconds of that one. Yep, Richie, you got it. The Milky Way. I think everybody got that. So that was just, hopefully they're not all quite as easy as that. So we'll try something else. Okay. Numero 2. True or false? Golf has been played in space. Golf has been played in space. True or false? Has anybody actually played golf in space? And if so, where and when? That's just for the extra bonus points. Oh, everybody's going true. Anybody know where? Oh, Richie again with the moon in 1972. I think you are right. Yep, it was actually on one of the Apollo missions. They took a couple of golf clubs out with them and started knocking a few golf balls across the lunar surface. So well done if anybody got that right. So 2 out of 2 hopefully for most people. Okay, I'm going to see if I can say some of these things. An EVA and EVA, or extra vehicular activity, is also known as what? An EVA, or an extra vehicular activity, is also known as what? What is an EVA? Crispy is straight in with an answer. Is he right? Anybody else got any? John is saying a moonwalk. I suppose technically they're both true. It is basically a spacewalk. You're leaving the space station, or I suppose if you're leaving the lunar lander. Yep. It's about extravehicular activity, going outside the vehicle. So well done. Yeah. So even if you're losing, I'm not sure if you're eating a banana outside. Yeah, of the well, I'm not sure how you'd actually eat a banana outside. You'd have to have one in your suit, but that gets a bit complicated and maybe messy. So I'm not sure if they would go for that. So that's. You ready? We're going for card number 3, I think, is it? 4? Card 4. Somebody keep me right. Here's one. True or false? Are astronauts taller in space? Are astronauts taller in space? What do you think? Do you think you grow a few inches when you're in space, or do you think you shrink? Oh, a good point from Soul Aborter there. I wonder if I can get in here and actually change. I forgot about the slow mode. Not even sure where. Oh, here we are. If I go to customization and go to. I'm going to set the 5 seconds just to stop any spamming, but that should hopefully give us a bit of extra time. Good idea. So some people are saying you actually get 2 inches taller. James is saying it's true. Jordy is saying it depends on the ambient. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it is true. Simply because you don't have the force of gravity pulling you down, you're actually I think at your back. The gaps in between. Anybody who knows skeletal muscles or whatever it is, bones, and the spaces between your back basically expand and you do grow. I could do with a couple of those, unfortunately, but well done if you did guess that yes, you do grow a few inches. But once you obviously come back to Earth, gravity takes its toll again and you're back to being a wee short arse. Okay, so we're going on to question 5. I believe this is question 5. I hope you're actually I know, but yeah, I'm not going to get into that just now. Okay. Oh, this is quite an easy one. I don't. True or false? We have sent spacecraft to Mars. We have sent spacecraft to Mars. It's ridiculously easy. Even I could get that one. Yeah. No, I think everybody's going to get that. Yep. It's true, of course it's true. We sent many spacecraft to Mars. Not only have we sent spacecraft, we have rovers actually on the lunar surface. Even we obviously Perseverance was the last one to go there, and it's still operating. We have a Curiosity, Opportunity. Can anybody think of any other, some of the Mars rovers, or even some of the other landers? Viking, go back to Viking. When was that? 70s. The Viking lander. Was it Sojourner? Was that one as well? So I'm trying to rack my brain here now and going back. Unfortunately I can't Google anything, so I can't cheat. Yeah. I don't know. Let me see if I can. I always remembered the Viking lander simply because it was on, was it Cosmos with Carl Sagan back in the day? Yous are all, most of you are far too young to remember this. I wonder if I can get a picture of the Viking lander. There was, I think there is a mock-up of it in the Smithsonian in United States of America. Open, I mean, blah blah blah. Yeah, there's a wee. I wonder if I can upload this to see. I'm trying to do 6 things at once here, and I'm not sure. I'm probably end up not going to do any of them correctly. Image, photo, browse, download. Okay, I'll just fit. Yep, that's Carl Sagan with a mock-up of the Viking lander. You know, and you see the size of it as well. So, yep, obviously we have been to Mars. We've sent plenty of spacecrafts, and of course we have Martian landers running about, rovers running about the place. So, okay, we're going to crack on. Well, I think this is Sputnik. No, Sputnik was the first satellite actually to be put in space by the Russians. It didn't actually go to Mars. Now there's a question, how long did Sputnik stay in orbit for? How long did, that's not a question in the cards, I just thought it up there. That's how good I am. I can think up of things right on the spot. So, I've lost all my screens here at the moment. That's what I need, and that's what I need, so I can see as well. Yep, an incredible guy. I mean, I still remember watching Cosmos, the original Cosmos, and the impact that on me. He was able to explain some of the most complicated scientific theories out there in such a down-to-earth manner. Oh yeah, that's right, and Tony reminded us that there is also a helicopter on Mars as well. I think was it its 50th trip on Mars recently? It was only meant to fly a couple of times, but it's still going. It's doing a great job, and they're learning obviously about the aerodynamics on Mars and how that would operate on a possible larger scale as well. What are my views on space debris? Well, if you're going to leave a mess, clean up after you. That's what I say. You know, and there are missions being designed. We're basically going to have satellites in there that are going to try and take away some of the debris, particularly old satellites, and try and deorbit them. So there are things being done, but the more you put up in space, the more chances there's going to be an accident. But we all like our modern comforts, and a lot of that is related to what's in orbit, so we can't have it both ways. Right, let me see here. So, yeah, there's a conversation about parsecs going on. It is about distance and not about speed, as Han Solo would say, but then he's in a galaxy far, far away. Things operate slightly different there, apparently. Right, we're going on to number 6 or 7. Ooh, this is a good one. Yeah. Which spacecraft has travelled the furthest from Earth? Which spacecraft has travelled the furthest from Earth? Yeah, most of you are getting it right. It is Voyager 1, but Voyager 2 I don't think it's too far behind. So I think, but I mean, it's, well, Pluto was New Horizons, but actually the Voyager probe, I think both of them now have they both left the solar system and now in the intergalactic or interstellar space. I mean, yeah, so it is definitely the Voyager probes, and I think Voyager 1 is definitely further out. Okay, hold on. Well, but why don't artificial satellites? They've got a lot of shielding on them, and you know, so they are well protected. I mean, a good one to look at about melting is the Parker Space Probe. You know, and the amount of the ingenuity behind that, because that's obviously going very close. The solar probe, the Parker Solar Probe, obviously because that's going very close to the sun, and it needs special protection, and so have a look at that and that'll give you some idea of how satellite and spaceship can actually protect themselves. Right, so we're going to crack on with the next question, which is question something. This is incredibly easy, so if you don't get this you need to just go to the door. Who was the first astronaut to walk on the moon? Who was the first astronaut to walk on the moon? There's a bonus question coming up after this one, so be prepared. Okay, so we all got, yeah, Neil Armstrong, yep, I think we're all right here. So, but the question, the bonus question is this: who was the last person to step foot? Who's the last person to stand on the moon? Who's the last person to stand on the moon? Now, test your knowledge with that one. I'm going to check them up just to make sure I'm not wrong. Yeah. Okay, so what do you think for that one? Who was the last human on the moon? Yep, a lot of you's getting that right, yeah. Gene Sharman, so well done to you. There we are there. And how many people in total have walked on the moon? How many people in total have walked on the moon? Beginning with Armstrong, ending with Sharman. How many people have walked on the moon? I believe in total. Yeah, so 12. Okay, next question, and it's Sarah is asking, why does Saturn have a ring? Well, probably some of it is probably remnants of a moon at some point, or attempted moon, or. But they actually, I don't think that the Saturn's rings are actually that old. Now, they're millions of years old, but obviously even in the life of the solar system, they're not that old, and they don't think they're going to last, again, in cosmological terms, they won't last that long, probably a couple of 100 million years from now, but they won't be around forever, so make the most of them. What causes Mars to appear red in colour? What causes Mars to appear red in colour? Is it lava, muddy water, red plants, or rusty dust? Rusty dust. I like the rusty dust. Yes, I think that's a more accurate description of what's going on. iron oxidation, but rusty dust, I suppose, isn't too far off it. Rusty dust. Yeah, so I think we got that one. Okay, so, oh, this is going back even before humans entered the space race. We actually sent up animals. What was the name of the first dog in space? What was the name of the first dog in space? So there's been a number of animals that were shot. I think the US sent monkeys up before they done their first launch. I can see where everybody's come from. Yeah, different spelling, but I think we all. Yeah, it's Leica. That's who it is. So, unfortunately, not all of those poor animals made it back. But I think the chimps did for the US. I think they were okay. What is a meteor called when it lands on Earth? What is a meteor called when it lands on Earth? Oh, yeah, I think most of us got it. It is meteorite or meteorite. So when it actually enters the atmosphere and lands, it becomes a meteorite. So well done. True or false? We can only see one side of the moon from Earth. We can only see one side of the moon from Earth. And why is that? Depending on the answer, why is it? It is true. We can only see one. We always see the same face of the moon, but why is that? Yeah, from Liz and Mike, yeah, it's tidally locked. Basically, what that means is the moon isn't still. The moon actually rotates every year. If the moon didn't rotate on its own axis, we would see all parts of the moon, but it is now rotating almost in sync with the Earth. So as it turns, we more or less see exactly the same face. There's a slight wobble. There's times you see slightly more than other times, but I think it's about 54% in total you see of the face. And there is no dark side of the moon. Simply because as the moon orbits the sun and in turn rotates, basically all parts of the moon get sunlight at some point. In the same way, most parts of the Earth get sunlight as well. So there's no dark dark side of the moon. It's just the far side. Yep, because of the rotation of the moon. You're all very good, well done. I think Syllabor's probably tried to, yeah, 27, yeah. You got there in the end, well done. Well done. Yes, there is the album, Dark Side of the Moon, but we live in more enlightened times, thank goodness. Okay. Yep, Greg, you're right. Simply because there's places where the sun, even when it does rotate, there are areas where the sun doesn't reach. It's a bit like, suppose, if you live further towards the North Pole, there will be times of the year when you'll see very little sunlight as well. Now that's a question that's not on the cards, but listen, anything is possible. We don't know. We probably haven't encountered, even imagined some of the life forms that are out there, so never rule anything out. There probably had a better chance of life being there in Mars in the past when it did have a more Earth-like quality to it, but who knows. it does indeed rotate. It rotates once every 27 days. It turns on its own axis. If it didn't, you would actually see all sides of the moon, because the Earth would still rotate round and move around on its, yeah. There's programs out there you can, like, things like I'm trying to remember the name of it. There's a space engine and things like that, where you can actually see these rotations happening, and it explains it all visually for you. So, okay, what is the coldest place in the universe? What is the coldest place in the universe? Now, it has given Iceland as one of the options here. I don't think it actually is Iceland. No, I would be surprised if it was Iceland. So what is the coldest place in the universe? And you might want to Google this. Just then you can find out a bit more about it. Because it doesn't tell me. I will see if I can Google it here. And see if I can find out just how cold it actually is. So what is the coldest place? Okay, right, we've got that. Okay, it is the Boomerang Nebula. The Boomerang Nebula, not Iceland, but the Boomerang Nebula. Well done, Dongle Dan. Right on the money. Well, Richie, you're not wrong by saying that. Not spot on, but you weren't wrong either. So the Boomerang Nebula, according to our friends at Wikipedia, and they've never stated us wrong ever, it has a temperature of 1 Kelvin, that's minus 272.15 Celsius, or in funny money it is minus 457.87 Fahrenheit, making it the coolest natural place currently known in the universe. So it's pretty chilly. Do this question: why does the moon have eclipses? Simply because it's just to do with the orbit of the moon around the Earth. Sometimes it lines up with between the moon, between the Earth and the Sun. It's just, that's why you don't actually have it, because the moon actually is on a bit of a tilt as well in comparison to the Earth, so it's not always so yeah, it's just to do with the orbits, and sometimes they will align themselves perfectly. I mean, eclipses aren't rare, maybe rare in particular spots, but I think there's a couple of eclipses happening. Is it going to be in the US this year? So keep an eye on that. Okay, so next question. I forgot about the questions. Oh well, probably a tricky one. This which planet or planets are known for having rings around them? Because it is more than one planet. Which planet or planets are known for having rings around them? Saturn and Neptune, yeah. Yeah. So it's thought that not only obviously Saturn, but also there are rings around Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune as well. I think, didn't James Webb Telescope just do a picture? Was it Neptune or was it Uranus? It was an infrared picture, and it gave a very clear image of the rings there. Let me just see here. Thank goodness for Google. James Webb Space Telescope. think it was Uranus. Yeah, it was. Let me just bring that up. Okie dokie. Image. I'm just trying to find something. I don't know. Oh, it's not allowing me to do that. I don't think it's going to show this. Oh, it is. There we go. That is the James Webb Space Telescope image that was taken very recently, and that shows Uranus, and you can certainly in the infrared you can very well see the rings. So I think Saturn is certainly the most prolific planet we have when it comes to observing the rings, but certainly it's not the only one. And the rings can be different things, certainly like, if you take Saturn for example, a lot of the rings are water, ice, as well as dust and all different things. Okay, so we're going to crack on to question number, I haven't been keeping track. Okay. Okay. True or false, the Sun is a planet? True or false, the Sun is a planet? Yes, you're right, MD. From what we understand is the reason that Uranus has such a weird rotation in terms of, instead of going around, it goes basically like that, and that's because they say at some point in its past it was hit by a larger object, maybe another planet, and it knocked it off its axis. So it's probably the best. Yeah, false. The Sun is not a planet. In fact, it's a sun. It's a star, and it's known as a yellow dwarf star. There you go. Mars versus Venus, some intergalactic war going on there. Why has Saturn got more sun? I don't know. It just depends what came into its orbit and was able to hold on to them. It could have been a bigger object that broke apart many years ago, so sadly not being around for those things, we did miss out on quite a bit. Okay, here's one about Hubble. The Hubble Space Telescope orbits the Earth and is powered by what? What powers the Hubble Space Telescope? Rocket fuel, solar energy, nuclear energy, or all of the above? What powers Hubble? Well, the black spots in the Sun are sunspots, and basically they're just weak areas in the whole magnetic field up there. Now they are black simply because they're cooler than the surrounding area, so they don't obviously look as bright, and that's why they're dark. Oh, all the above. Anybody else? What powers the Hubble Space Telescope? James is saying true to them all, I think. So what powers the Hubble Space Telescope? Okay, it is actually the solar power. It has, at the sides of it you will see the solar panels, and that's what's keeping it going. Now, one of the more interesting things, obviously with the space shuttle, we were able to do missions to Hubble to keep it going. Obviously that's not an option now, but I know if you listen to everything and you believe everything from space, not from SpaceX, but the rumours is that if Starship was ever up and running, it would be possible to do you could do different missions. You could do a recovery mission and actually bring Hubble home, or you could do a repair mission to it and actually repair Hubble via Starship as well. So a lot depends on Starship. Okay, so we're moving on. Next question. Okay, the NASA Space Shuttle was the first reusable spacecraft in the world. True or false? Was the Space Shuttle the first reusable spacecraft in the world? Uncle Dan's in with tea. I'm sure he means true and not a cup of tea. Yeah. And of course only some of it was reusable. When you had the main fuel tank, which was lost, you had the boosters, which was all reusable, and obviously the main shuttle itself. In fact, the Space Shuttle referred to everything. It referred to the orbiter, it referred to the fuel tanks, referred to the boosters. All that was the Space Shuttle. When you were just talking about, if you like, the shuttle as we would call it, that was the orbiter. So which is the fastest planet to orbit the Sun? Which is the fastest planet to orbit the Sun? Yeah, but it's Mercury. And Mercury whizzes round, and I think is it 88 days or something bonkers like that. I mean, yeah. Galaxy Geek is on the ball with that, so thank you very much. Yep, so 88 days, and I think, how long does it take to rotate on its own axis? So how long is a Mercurian day? Let me see, blah blah blah. Okay, if somebody, I can find that out. So if somebody can find out how long it takes Mercury to rotate on its own axis, what is one day in Mercury, day and night. So if someone can find that out as well. But it does take 88 days to do one single rotation of the Sun. So you'll have lots of birthdays. True or false? There are only stars at night. There are only stars at night. Oh, Richie's in with 59 days. I'm assuming that relates to how long is a Mercurian day. Oh, Chris B's in with just a wee bit more specific. 58 days, 18 hours, I like that. People are saying false. You know something? I forgot what the question was. Yeah, of course, no stars shine all the time. Obviously, when you're in the glare of the sun, you're really not going to see anything else. And that's as simple as that. It's like having a bright light in your face. You don't see much around it. So, of course, stars are always there. You know, back in the olden times, they would have referred to stars simply being pinholes in the fabric that covered the earth and things like that. But we know better. Okay. Here's a question about stars, and you can Google this one for yourself. If you're observing stars at night, and if you're observing planets like Venus or Jupiter, stars twinkle, planets do not. Why is that? So if you're looking to the night sky and you can see stars, and you can see Venus or you can see Jupiter or Saturn, stars will twinkle, but planets will not. Why is that? Okay, on to the official questions. Which of these is best for viewing the moon from Earth? Okay, if anybody gets this wrong, seriously. A microscope. B, a telescope. C, a periscope. This is my best, my favourite. D, a kaleidoscope. D's only right if you're off your head on something. D is only if you're totally stoned. D is the best way to view the moon, but apart from that, D is not the right answer. I can tell you that now. It's certainly not a kaleidoscope. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a telescope. Of course it is. Yeah. Right. Okay, so yeah, I think that was fairly straightforward. Yeah. We'll do more space quizzes. We'll get one where you can actually vote and get the answer. We can actually have a proper winner as well. Okay, comets. Asteroids' little cousin. Comets are mostly made of dust, snow, ice, or all of the above. Dust, snow, ice, or all of the above. Of course, one of the most famous missions we've had was the Rosetta mission, which sent an actual probe. You think about this, we sent a probe, a tiny little probe, probably the size of a car, hundreds and hundreds of millions of miles away to land on a relatively small comet, which it did. You had Philae, which actually landed on it, and obviously Rosetta, that took all these fantastic images. Here's the question. This is a side question, so no points for this one. Which comet did Rosetta go and investigate? Which comet did Rosetta investigate? And getting back to the question in hand, yes, it's all of the above. It's snow and ice and dust, and yeah. And of course, comet trail, when you see comets heading towards the sun, and it's simply because their tails are melting as well, and they're giving off all these gases and things into the surrounding. Yeah. Comet P is funny. Comet P, is it Comet P 57? Oh, off the top of my head, I just can't remember. Yeah, somebody can Google it. Please Google it. Rosetta, Comet P, whatever. Gives the right answer, please. It's annoying me now. So Comet, it's got a big long name. It has obviously of the people who found it, and we're not doing them any justice by not remembering their name. It's not Halley's Comet. No, definitely not Halley's Comet. Let me ask Mr. Google. Ah, right, okay, yep. Mr. Google says it's Comet 67P, not 57P, and it was Churyumov. Hello, sorry, it seems I'm glad you're there. I am back. No, my camera just decided to shut down. I'm not sure what was going on, but I'm back. I'll be back. Okay, so I don't know if you heard me. Comet 67P. Well, and it was Comet Churyumov Gerasimenko. and I say I've done no justice at all to those people's names, and I do apologise to it because that was horrible pronunciations. But I say what I did say before I was so rudely cut off is go and find out about the Rosetta mission, go and find out about the images took of the comet. There's some great animations there of the comet spinning in space, fantastic. You can see some of the dust and some of the ice and things coming off it. There's one, yeah, it looks like a snowstorm, but it's actually just the dust, and it's amazing. So it's all online, just Google it, and you'll be amazed. And we were able to do that, and you know, the level of scientific achievement we can do. We can send a tiny object hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of miles to a small comet to do all that. But I mean, there's other missions. You had, was the Japanese mission that actually landed on a comet, took a sample and bring it back to Earth. So wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Okay, so I know next question is why are comets, why are black holes black? Why aren't they green? Why aren't they green holes? Why aren't they blue holes? Why are black holes black? What makes them black? Why don't they shine? Yep, you know, the answers are coming in thick and fast, and you're right. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the gravity is so great that light itself isn't even powerful enough to get out of the gravitational well, basically. And of course, giant black holes are sitting at the heart of our galaxy and other galaxies, and that's what's keeping us all spinning around them. And black holes aren't giant vacuums. Obviously, if you get too close to a black hole, you'll be pulled in, but only if you get too close. It doesn't actually go out actively eating things. For instance, if the sun, I think if the sun became the size of a handball, it would become a black hole, maybe even smaller actually. But you know something, the planets would stay in their orbit because the gravitational force would be exactly the same. It's just that the sun itself would have been compressed so much that it would light, you know, the gravity wouldn't be at that point would be so strong light couldn't escape at the center. However, as far as the planets are concerned, it would be still exerting the same gravitational force on us. So it's just down to size. Greg, you are more than welcome. And of course, let's remember, James Webb was launched on Ariane 5. Ariane 5 is a great rocket. It's done some fantastic missions in its time, and it's coming up to its last mission, so stay tuned and keep an eye out for that. It was meant to happen on the 16th, it was delayed, so that will happen. And of course, it's going to be replaced with Ariane 6. Now, this is Europe's independent space vehicle, and of course, the United States wants their own transport to space. Europe wants its own transport to space. India has its own transport. These are very important to each individual nation or blocks of nations. But Ariane 5 did a fantastic job. It was so precise with the James Webb telescope. It actually extended the life of its mission. So well done. Okay, how many moons does Mars have? How many moons does Mars have? And a bonus point for yourself and a pat on the back if you can name both. Pat on the back if you can name both. And I'm just looking for an image here, and I want to show you something. So keep those answers coming in while I do this and pretend that you don't notice me doing it. Sorry, I've got a new software system. I have got it now. Okay, So who's got the names right here? Okay. Phobos and Deimos, yes, wow, very good. Yep, you're all very close enough. Richie, Phobos and darn memory block. I get that all the time, trust me. Okay. Okay, that's so here is that I want to show you something. We talked about eclipses earlier, and why does the moon eclipse it? Simply because the orbits interact in a line. What does a eclipse look on Mars? And this is an eclipse of Phobos passing in front of the sun, seen from the surface of Mars from the, I think it was Perseverance rover. Yeah, look at that. So we're quite fortunate because our moon is more or less the same size as the Earth, given the distance. But that's Phobos, the Martian moon, passing in front of that's their eclipse. It's cool, but it's just different from what we would experience. So eclipses do happen all the time and in different ways. Yes, Betty, I am. Thank you very much. I think that was for me, but I'll take it anyway. Yeah, totally different, absolutely totally different from what we experience. It'd be so weird to see that in our sky, but for those Martians, that's what they're used to. Okay, next question. I think we're only about a third of the way through. He's all hanging in there. We've been an hour at it. If you want to stop, just give me a shout. Okay, how weird is this? Okay, when the moon blocks our view of the sun from Earth, this is called a what? But here's the options. Is it a meteor shower, a lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse, or a moonwalk? I actually like D. A moonwalk would not be so. Okay, back again. I don't know the camera. I don't know why it's overheating, or, but it just doesn't. It's giving me a bit of bother. But I'm back. Okay, hold on here. Yep, I'm back. So it's, yeah, of course, it's a solar eclipse. I say totally different from anything we would experience. Now, a lunar eclipse is actually, certainly from Mars, is when the Earth passes in front of the moon and blocks some of the light going to the moon. So that would be different. Sorry, Chris, could have been my fault there. Hopefully it is. What is the largest moon of the solar system? An extra point for that if you can get that one. What is the largest moon of the solar system? I had set, it's all YouTube people coming through here. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with YouTube people, but I did have it set up to allow for Facebook comments, but I can't see any of it. Oh, I just dropped a question. Okay, meteors are also known as galaxies, constellations, black holes, or shooting stars. Shooting stars. Now, okay, technically yes, shooting stars, but only if they enter the Earth's atmosphere, because then they burn up very quickly. But if they're not really entering the Earth's atmosphere, are they really shooting stars then? There's a question for you. So Keith is saying that Ganymede is the largest moon. I don't know if I can get onto Google just to confirm that. I think you're right. Oh well, okay. Here's the thing about Ganymede. It is quite big. What is the radius of Ganymede? Just for, again, if you get this, add yourself another 10 points and pat in the back. Ganymede is 1,635 miles in diameter, or radius of 1,635 miles, or 2,631 kilometers. Okay, cracking on with the questions. Yep, sorry, I'm back in. I do actually think it is that the camera is overheating now and it's beginning to panic a wee bit. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's getting quite warm, but hey ho. Here's a question: true or false? Can you eat an ice cream in space? I know what I would say. Yeah. Can you eat an ice cream in space? Yeah, is the answer. I'm not sure why it would not be the answer. Why wouldn't you eat an ice cream in space if you can eat anything else? Ah. Okay, we know the Earth is quite big. Yeah. But when you compare to other parts, things in the solar system, particularly the Sun, it's not that big. So how many Earths could fit within the Sun? How many Earths could fit inside the Sun? How many do you think you could squeeze? How many Earths inside the Sun? Yeah, I might have to look at that. It is quite warm in here anyway, simply because it's been warm all day. Bojamin is saying 1 million. Richie is saying 3,000. MD is saying, I'm just going to check the answer. Yeah, I thought it was, yeah, millions. Now, according to the card, and I think that until we actually get around to measuring it, I think it's more or less right. It is 1 million, give or take, probably a couple of 100,000. So we'll say 1 million, and we'll round it off that. Which planet is named after the Roman goddess of love and beauty? Which planet is named after the Roman god of love and beauty? So think of all the classical lessons you took at school. And here's another sub-question to it all. Which other planets would be named after Roman gods? Which other planets, or even gods in general? And which gods are they named after? And why are they named after those gods? There you go, there's about 4 questions to that. Yeah, it's Venus. Venus. Yeah. Look at that, I'm not even challenging Bran. Bran is just, you know, it's far too easy. Why even asking me that? Come on. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm not sure what's going on with this camera. I do have another camera, a smaller one, kicking about here somewhere. The problem will be is the audio, which I would have to try and sort out, but you know, we're not beat yet, that's for sure. If I could set that there, I wonder if that could work. Can you give me a second and talk amongst yourselves? If it goes off again, I have a plan. Stan. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the backup mic in. There was an old man stretch right there. We've got that. This may take a bit of rejigging, but we'll see if this goes off again. If it does, we'll try it again. Yeah, Mars was always the god of god of war. Mercury, a god of commerce in Romans. Neptune, obviously, god of the seas, wasn't he? Uranus now. What was Uranus? God of anybody? And it's Uranus, by the way. So we won't go there. If the screen does go off again, I'm going to plug in the other camera, which may take just a couple of minutes, so do hang about if things do go. Grab yourself a drink. I'm getting a sweat here, it is so warm. Yeah. Sky God from Richie. I can see where you're going from with that one. Yeah. Okay. Let's try the next question. Oh, our sun is mostly made of what? Gas, lava, iron, or water. And what gas or gases is it made of primarily? I gave you the answer in that one, didn't I? There you go, yeah. So if the sun's made of gas or gases, what gases is it made of? And there's two in particular that make the sun go. Yeah, the sun's I was going to say burning's not the right word. The sun's engaged in nuclear fusion at the moment, and it's compressing hydrogen atoms in its core, and that's what's giving off all this wonderful light and heat. Now the byproduct of hydrogen will be that hydrogen fusion will be helium, and at some point in the future it'll get round to compressing that and fusing that. That's when we're going into where the sun begins to become a giant red dwarf star, and we're all dead and toasted by that point anyway, so nothing to worry about. But that's a gazillion years in the future. We'll worry about that when the time comes. What is at the centre of the Milky Way? Again, we're getting the answers. We discussed this earlier. What's at the centre of the Milky Way? I think it's different if you're in the UK compared to America. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the chocolate bars. The Milky Way chocolate bars in the States are totally different from the Milky Way chocolate bars that are here in the UK, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt, the Milky Way chocolate bars here are infinitely better. I think the Milky Way is more like, is it a Musketeer bar in the States? It's like a fluffy kind of interior. If there's any US people watching. Well, the exit colour from our perspective, you know, is white. Obviously, if you can see an infrared or ultraviolet, you'll see different colours. But from our perspective, it's just white. Okay, I'm not sure. Some of these questions are a bit odd. True or false? True or false? The moon is very windy. The moon is very windy. I'm not sure what, I think that's to do with Milky Way bars or just in general. In general, I would agree with you as well. The moon is not windy at all, of course, because it has no atmosphere, so there's nothing to create wind. Oh, here's one that is a bit more thinking power required. How heavy is a NASA spacesuit? How heavy is a NASA spacesuit? There you go. Now I'm going to give the options. Try and work it out for yourself. How heavy is a NASA spacesuit? Are they still waiting for? I know they went out to contract to try and get spacesuits for the Artemis 3 mission, which is actually going to land on the moon. I must actually check to see what actually happened with that, because I think NASA had spent something like $1 billion on spacesuit development and still hadn't got a spacesuit, so they end up going to private contractor. But that was when they had the last NASA administrator's job. Would have been a couple of years ago now. So MD is saying 200 kilograms. Ruti is saying 100 kg. Okay. Oh, who? Sorry. Chris is saying 275 kg. Now, according to this card, and who am I to argue with the card? It says it's about 280 pounds or 127 kilograms. 127. Around 200 pounds. I'm assuming that's pounds. Good save there, Chris. Good save. I like that one. What colour is a sunset on Mars? What colour is a sunset on Mars? Obviously we have some beautiful red sunsets, but why, or what colour, sorry, are sunsets on Mars? So we have blue, we have orange. Chris has come in with blue. So any other colours you would like to submit here for sunsets on Mars? And here's another one. Why are they that colour? Whatever colour you're going for, why are they that colour? Are they, you know... Okay. Don't like the echo. I can fix that. I can fix that. Now is it fixed? Hello? Is there a delay now? Because the camera and the microphone aren't joined up? I don't know. But I'm also not sure why my other camera, I think it was just the heat. So we'll have to look at some sort of cooling. You live and learn. Every day's a school day. So let me bring up back all my screens again. Okay. So apologies if there is some sort of delay going on there. Right, let's see what you're all saying. So all good, okay. Yeah, hopefully I think everything's fixed now. I say it was the camera, the Sony. It's actually a good camera. It's a Sony A600 6000. But it seems to be overheating and shutting down. One of the reasons because of the blue is simply due to the dust in the Martian atmosphere. It simply scatters the particles in a certain way, and red is simply cut out of it, and that's why it looks blue. Okay, so we're all ready to go back up and running. We're probably about halfway through, so. But next time we will do another quiz, but we will do a quiz that's probably set up and we actually have questions that you can interact with, and there will be a prize. I don't know what prize. I have enough junk around here. I'm bound to be able to give something away, so. Oh. Now this does refer back to something that we discussed almost right at the very start of the quiz. What was the first name of the first artificial satellite in space? Not even going to give you the options. What was the name of the first artificial satellite in space? Are microorganisms present in space? I wouldn't rule it out. You think like tardigrades that can seem to survive almost anything, and one of the reasons we like if you go to Cassini, one of the reasons we put that into the atmosphere of Saturn and made sure it was burned up was sure it didn't collide with the likes of Enceladus or one of the other moons, which may have life, just in case there were some microbes from Earth on it, and it could infect and affect the moon there. So yeah, I don't see any reason why not. Yeah, Sputnik, I think you're all on the money with that. I don't think that's. James, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully we will see you again. Always good to have people from across the world. That's what we love here. So thank you very much for taking the time to join us here. See you soon, James. Oh, true or false? Astronauts cannot burp in space. They cannot burp in space. True or false? And if anybody knows the reason either for or against, let me know. It is false. Yeah, apparently you need gravity to be able to burp, to get that wind out, and without it doesn't mean that the burps don't form in the first place, or if they do form, that's got to be painful. If they, yeah, there you go. Something can investigate that. Do you have inside burps that can't get out, and what happens to you? Yeah, I think that's more or less just the general thing. When you don't have gravity, we take it for granted. Obviously, food goes in, food goes down, and food comes out. That's the end of the matter. Sorry, it's true. They cannot burp. That's what I mean. Sorry, yes. Okay, we're going to talk about dwarf planets. What is a dwarf planet? Is it A, something that's smaller than a planet, in direct orbit of the Sun, roughly spherical in shape, or D, all of the above? And if you can give any names of dwarf planets in the solar system, extra point, pat in the back. I need a drink. Give me a second. I'll be back. So, where did we get to in dwarf planets? So, yeah, Ceres, yes, we got that. Pluto, yep. Well, given that I grew up in the time when Pluto was actually seen as a planet, I can go either way on it, so I don't really care. But yeah, Pluto will be a dwarf planet. Sorry, just getting a drink. Okie dokie. Question number. Oh, good answer here from MD. And what makes up a dwarf planet? Something does not have the mass to dominate, be the dominant object in its neighbourhood. Yes, Richie, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Can we whistle in space? I don't see why not. If you have air, of course. Now, obviously, if you don't have air, you're in trouble. You won't be doing breathing, let alone whistling. Okay. Who was the first astronaut in space? Who was the first astronaut? Well, this is kind of a trick question, depending what way you view it. But we'll see what you say. Who was the first astronaut in space? And I'll tell you why I think it's a trick question. Also, going forward, obviously we'll do more space quizzes, but if you want any nights where we can just get together and talk about space stuff, anything, if we have a particular topic or subject, we can do that. So if you think of any subjects you want to think would be good for engagement amongst people would like to chat about and give their views on, put a comment onto this once it goes live, or Twitter me or whatever you young kids do. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's an interesting one. Yuri Gagarin, people are saying. Yeah, Yuri Gagarin. Now, the reason I said, is this a trick question? It's not real. According to this, it's not. It's Yuri Gagarin. Now, the reason Yuri Gagarin technically was not an astronaut. He was a cosmonaut. And suppose if you're Russian, you probably might want to pick up on that. The first astronaut in space probably was Alan Shepard, in terms of the term that we would use. But yeah, the first person in space was Yuri Gagarin. Okay. Okay, what was the first food ever eaten in space? Was it meat? Was it ice cream? Was it pizza? Or was it grapes? Meat, ice cream, pizza, or grapes? So, you're going up, you just entered space, and you're going to have your first meal. What do you think you're going to have? Oh, and you're one of the first astronauts ever to go into space as well, so this is in the 60s, so I think things have improved since then. So Richie is saying grapes for food. Fruity is saying pizza. Applesauce coming in from Chris. Now, according to the card, and the card never lies apparently, that will be some cheese, Michael. I would like to taste that cheese. So according to the card, it was meat. I don't tell you what meat, other than it was pureed. So I'm sure that was lovely. Tang is an interesting one. Tang is an American drink, which seemed to be associated. I don't know if they actually took it into space or what, or it was just a marketing campaign. But Tang seems to, if there's any Americans here, what is the association with Tang and astronauts? Yeah, pureed meat. So maybe it was nice, I don't know, but it basically came in a tube of almost like toothpaste, and you used it like toothpaste. You rolled it out and scoffed it up. So delicious. Okay, light, sun, how long? So once a light is emitted from the sun, how long does it take before it reaches Earth? How long does it take before light reaches Earth from the sun? and I want it down to the nearest second. Bone jam, you're getting there, you're heading in the right direction, but I want it down to the nearest second. Crispy is getting even better, but however, what I will add, Crispy, depends what it says in the card. So Takat, I am very well, sir. Thank you very much. How are you? Oh, Jeannie is hedging her bets with 12 to 17 seconds. Now, according to the card, which we know and love, I'm going to give the answer. It is 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Crispy was the closest, but that 1 second makes all... Oh! Sonia comes in with 8 minutes 20 seconds. Well done. Freddie, you're 4 seconds out, unfortunately. Yeah, Pepper, I think I will pass on the pureed meat. So tang is just a powdered... Oh, is that like... We used to have stuff like cremola here in the UK. I wonder if that's the same as tang. I don't know. Yeah. We're getting through the cards right now. But definitely we'll do another space quiz in a couple of weeks once I get around to making questions again. If you've any ideas, because that's one of the problems, making them interesting, getting good questions, any ideas for questions for a future space quiz, give us a shout. And the space quiz next time will be interactive, where you can actually vote for yourself. And we will have a winner at the end. Oh, this is so easy. It's actually... Okay, what is the largest man-made object in space? What is the largest man-made object in space? Hi, Sarah. Bonjam, good to have you along. Thanks for tuning in. Please do come back. Always good to have people from across the pond. Yeah, Genius hit it on the head. Space Station. Pepper with ISS. ISS. Yeah, of course it is. It's the size of what? American football field? Whatever that is. I don't know. If anybody wants to Google that, you can. True or false? You weigh more on the moon. True or false? You weigh more on the moon. So if you go to the moon, are you heavier? Are you lighter? Are you the same? Do you weigh more on the moon than you do on Earth? True or false? Yeah, no flies on any of you. Yeah, false. And the reason is false. Yeah, and Richie comes back. Richie is on the ball tonight. Yeah, because there's 1/6 of Earth's gravity on the moon. So if you want to lose weight, go to the moon. That's all I can say. Simple solution. Why everybody doesn't do it, I don't know. Okay, another very easy question. If you don't get this one, I don't know. Which planet has a giant red spot? Here's the thing. Not only do I want to know what planet has a giant red spot, I want to know why it has what is the giant red spot? What's happening there? Is it a pimple? Is it a zit? Does it need popped? So what is the giant red spot? Who has it? I don't know. What size is a giant red spot? How many Earths could fit in the giant red spot? Yeah, we all. Yeah, I would have been surprised if people hadn't got Jupiter as the planet with a giant red spot. And there's Nathan with storm. Yep, it's a storm. Storm. So get your Googling fingers out. Find me how fast the winds are going in that storm, and is there any indication as to how long the storm has lasted, how long it will last, what size is the storm. So Oh, Richie's come back. Apparently the storm is about the size of 3 hours, but it's pretty big for a storm. Oh, MD's coming in. Controversy here. It's 2 Earth size. 1 Earth makes all the difference. So, other than it's pretty big. Nate says that the storm is about 250 years. It'd be weird to think of Jupiter without the red spot, but like in the same way, it would be weird to think of Saturn without its rings. But all these things are coming to an end at some point. Diana is saying Jupiter has a spot and it's a hurricane. Yep, Diana, here's another question. How fast are those winds going in Jupiter? That storm, how fast is it going? Sumia is coming back with 1,000 kilometers an hour. Okay. Anybody else to contradict that in terms of speed? So we have about 10 questions left. And I'm baking here. Well, not bad. I'm an hour and a half in, so thanks for all of you for hanging about there. But we will do this again and say, if you do think of any topics, just for topics for Simply Space Chat, where we can come to anything. Okay, which are the two? And this again goes back to when I was at school. Would it give the answer away straight away? Which are the two coldest planets in the solar system? We used to call them the ice giants. Do they still have ice giants when you're teaching school? Planet astronomy in school, in the solar system, the ice giants. We had the gas giants, Saturn and Neptune. We had the ice giants, which were So which are the coldest planets in the solar system? Oh, that's in Pluto. That's not what I would have went with. Jeannie comes in, which and Richie comes in. Yep. They were always called the ice giants when we were being taught the solar system in school. And again, you can ask Mr. Google for more information, or even there's a thing you can do in chat now. I don't know if it's on this one, but certainly on. Let me see. You can actually tap into the power of AI. What are the Neptune, Uranus? Right, so let's get back to this. Yep, Michael, you're right. The red spot is shrinking. It's a storm that seems to be coming to an end, like all storms. Yeah, Papa, in my head, Pluto. I'm not getting into the argument, but I don't care either way. In particular, I'm not going to die in a ditch over it, but I would always, if you want to press me on it, I would say, yeah, Pluto's a planet. Oh, it seems that Nightbot's not responding to this chat, unfortunately. Okay, next question. This is an interesting one. True or false? There are volcanoes on other planets. And then for your bonus question and a pat in the back, which planet has the largest known volcano? Which planet has the largest known volcano? So go for it. Get those fingers googling. Yep, yeah, of course. Yep, there's other planets out there and other bodies. Excuse me. Sorry. That's what you get for drinking Coca-Cola with vodka during live streams. Yep. Yeah, true. Mars, you're right there. There is a particular. It's a very famous volcano. It's fantastic. It's amazing. So you see the photos. Again, I'm gonna have to Google one of the photos here. Let me see. Give me a second. what in Mars there's a fairly famous volcano. What is it called? Give me some information about it. I'm gonna get you a picture of it now. I must admit that every time I see this, it just amazes me. And right, so there we go. Download that. I just have to bring it in here. Blah 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 blah. Sorry, it's a bit of palaver trying to, when you want to upload a particular image. We'll get there. The only time we were beat, we weren't there. Right, so there we go. This is a Mount Olympus on, oh sorry, Olympus Mons, as to get a proper term, on Mars. So anybody got any facts about it yet? You get bonus points for the facts. So tell me about Olympus Mons. Yeah, Olympus Mons, everybody's got, yeah. Three times higher than that. It's spectacular. It's called a shield volcano, if I remember right. Yeah. MD comes in to the rescue. Thank you for that. Yeah, fantastic. Let me just get back to the main screen here, if I can find it. Anybody know the actual size of Olympus Mons? Now don't make me go working for it. Come on, help me out here. Help a guide. There's only so much Wikipedia I can do. So according to NASA, the largest of the blah 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 blah, the largest of the volcanoes in the Tharsis Mons region. So there's a region of volcanoes. Also, as well as all known volcanoes in the solar system, is Olympus Mons. Olympus Mons is a shield volcano, 627 kilometers or 374 miles in diameter. Think about that, 374 in diameter. Approximately the same size as the state of Arizona, whatever that means. Yep. So it's 25 kilometers high, 16 miles. There you go. That, imagine trying to climb that beast. That is fantastic. Well done. No wonder the Martians died out, if that's what they're doing at the weekends. Okay, so what am I looking for here? Chat. Let's see who's on the chat. Yep, 16 miles high, says Google. Do we ever dispute Google? No, of course we don't. We love Mr. Google, even when he's wrong. Yeah, it's just fantastic, you know. And it's just, again, it's one of those things that, you know, helps you get into astronomy and realize, you know, the wonders of the universe. You know, we get caught up in our own planet, and there's some great things in our own planet, don't get me wrong. You know, Mount Everest, if you want to talk about volcanoes and mountains and things. But once you realize that there is literally a whole universe on your doorstep of things that you can almost not comprehend, yeah, and it does give you a bit of realization and perspective on life here on Earth as well, that there's more to the world than just your own day-to-day grind, and there is a whole wide world of planets and meteors and comets and everything going on around you, and you need to take time to take it all in and understand it as much as you can. You're never going to understand everything, but that's fine. But every day is a learning day. So let's get back to the quiz. That's what you're all paying to come to. Okay, I hope you've got your calculator out. So how many stars are in the known universe? How many stars are in the universe? Yeah, I would like to see your answers in this one. How many stars are in the universe? I thought it was a bit of an odd question. So how many stars are in the universe? I hope you've been out counting. Those darn tripods. They're always watching. with envious eyes. Boom, boom, boom. Dun, dun, dun. Trillions and trillions, says Pepper. Billions, Chris, 100 billion. Do you know the fact is, we don't know. We do know those answers are actually all right. I wouldn't doubt any one of them, but we simply, it's a bit of a silly question. Who knows how many stars are in the universe? I think it's 400 million stars in the Milky Way alone, and there's trillions, probably trillions of billions certainly, if not trillions of galaxies out there. When you look at some of the stuff that Hubble is throwing up, not Hubble, James Webb Telescope, we haven't got a clue. Which is good, because every day is a learning day, and we are learning something new about the universe around us and our place in the universe. And in one sense, we're learning about how insignificant we are, but we're also learning about how important we are, because as yet we have found no other signs of life, let alone intelligent life, anywhere else. And I have no doubt that there is life somewhere, but for all intents and purposes, and to the best of our ability, all we know is we have life here, and it is the only life that we have ever encountered in our known universe. So it's worth preserving and working to preserve it, and making sure it exists going into the future. Yeah, so who knows? There's lots and lots, like jelly tots, as we would say. True or false? Space is mostly silent. Space is mostly silent. It is awesome. It's a totally awesome universe. And the great thing about astronomy, it does open your mind to everything, and you go back to like Copernicus, who came up with the idea that we're not at the center of everything. In fact, we're actually a small player. The sun is the center of our solar system. We go around the sun. We're not as important as we once thought we were. That's not a bad thing to realize. People are saying true. What was the question? Let me see what the question was. Yeah, because obviously, look, to have sound, you need air. Without air, you're not going to get the vibrations. Of course it is. And is that one in space? No one can hear you scream, simply because there's no air, which is true. So there you go. We're getting to the last. Cat. Thank cards. I don't know German, so whatever's fine for German. Okay, so it's a very straightforward question, but I want more information. What is the largest planet in the solar system? What is the largest planet in the solar system? But I want its size. I want its size in terms of diameter. So tell me about the largest planet. And then once again, folks, thanks everyone for tuning in and staying with me, because we've been at this since 8 o'clock, so there's almost 2 hours going, so that was a good crack. Thank you very much. And again, we will do this again, and I think if we want to engage with certain space topics, it doesn't matter whether it's astronomy, it doesn't matter whether it's space rockets, whatever's happening with like SpaceX and all, whatever you want, just drop me a message and we'll get that organised. We'll have a bit of fun as well. Just enjoy it. Come on, Betty, because size does matter. I don't care what they're telling you, size does matter. So check it out. Ask Mr. Google what the size of Jupiter is. First person to give me the size of Jupiter gets a round of applause. So I'm watching the screens. I'm watching the screens very closely. So I need the size of Jupiter. Oh, Chris B comes in. I haven't got time to find Leonardo DiCaprio going. So that'll have to do. Or do I? Let me see. God, I am wasting some time here looking at gifts of Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh dear, I got nothing better to do, which I don't have. I don't know if his GIF is going to work, but well. It's not clapping. Sorry, Chris. You were first in with but you get the gist. You know, well done. 6.1. I don't think that's the diameter. Maybe it's. Yeah, 88,000 miles in diameter. Whoever got it right gets a Leonardo DiCaprio clap. But if you don't, you don't get a clap. So I can't help with that. And even Leonardo's hesitating. So okay, next question. We're down to the last 4 cards. True or false? Plants can grow in space. Again, it depends what way you look at the question. Plants can grow in space. Do you think plants can grow in space? And I think I know what they mean by the question, but yeah. Israel, good to have you here. Thank you very much for joining us all the way from Brazil. We appreciate you taking time. See, Bunny Man, I like your thinking. I know exactly what you mean by that. However, the question on the card actually says yes. There we go. Richie is in with the on the ISS. Yes, and that's what it's about. Technically, they're in space, but obviously you need the right conditions, not least oxygen and water. It helps when you're growing plants. But if you were in space, I wouldn't give much money for any plant having the ability to grow in space. The only plant that I'm aware of that grows is that one from. Do you remember the movie? Say again. I'm showing my age. Do you remember the movie Invaders of the Body Snatchers, where these plants, spores, crept through space and land on Earth? So. Oh, I do love it when you're at work and you're doing a wee bit on the side. So, thanks for tuning in. So, yeah. So technically, if you're on somewhere like the ISS and you're providing the proper oxygen, water, nutrients, yes, of course they can, and they're growing some of their own food up there, plants and everything. So well done to them. But in space, yeah. No, Invasion of the Body Snatchers is an old. There's two versions of it. There's 1950s, which is actually quite good, but there's one in the 70s with Sutherland. Oh, it's not. It's the father, not Kiefer Sutherland, the father of Kiefer Sutherland. But it's a good film. Yeah. Yeah, Deliana, I think you hit it just right in the, oxygen and water and things like the things that you need to grow plants, but. So it is kind of a trick question. This is a good one because we talked about certain planets earlier on. So, what planet is the hottest planet in the solar system? Which planet is the hottest planet in this solar system? Sorry, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I'm going to have to stay off the vodka when I'm doing these live streams. Yes, Kiefer Sutherland, or Donald Sutherland. Yes, Kiefer is the son. Donald Sutherland is the father. Great film. If you can get the chance to watch it, it's actually very funky. Leonard Nimoy's in it as well. Jeannie saying Venus. Now this is an interesting one. Why is Venus the hottest planet in the solar system when Mercury is the closest planet? You think Mercury being right next to the Sun, astronomical terms of course, they would be the hottest planet. But why is Venus the hottest planet in the solar system? There is a reason for it, why Venus is actually hotter than Mercury. And Uncle Dan comes in with the, if you look at the pictures of it, it's basically just like a white ball, and it's almost like the greenhouse effect. All that heat that's going in is staying in, it can't escape. Mercury has no atmosphere. In fact, if you look at Mercury, it's actually very much like the moon, because there's no atmosphere. Even small meteorites just hit the surface and impact on it. But compare the pictures of Mercury to Venus, and you'll see, and that's why Venus is so bright in the night sky. It's got all this heat and energy built up in it, and it's just a lot of it's reflecting back out as well, but a lot of it's being contained within the atmosphere. So Venus is the hottest planet, yep, due to its atmosphere. But atmosphere's good. It keeps us alive, and what's a party without atmosphere? So we're down to the last two questions, and once again, folks, thanks for tuning in. I've enjoyed it. I've had a good bit of fun. We will do this again. We'll do it more often. We will do it more interactively, where you can actually vote on questions. We will have a proper winner. We will do more simply nights where we'll sit and talk about space. We'll have certain topics. If I can get you on video calls, I would love that. I don't know how to do it. It's something I'm working on. Almost like a call-in sort of thing. Obviously, you will have to weed out the crazies, but we can do that. Yeah. So there's things we can do in the future to make the channel more interactive, more entertaining. But it's all about you. I want to hear from you, because I don't want to hear from myself and bored with myself. So 2 questions left. Which one will I do first? I'll go with this one. If it's again, that's an interesting one. Let's see. What year did astronauts first land on the moon? What year did astronauts first land on the moon? It was good to have you, Betty. I say we did do ones before, and I have to look up the system that we use, see if it's still going, where you can actually log in and vote and actually answer questions properly, and it collates all the answers and gives you a proper result at the end as well. Again, it's all a bit of fun. 1968, 1969, Galaxy Geek, 1972, Uncle Dan, 1969, Richie, 1969. The year that man first landed, not to use that term, when humans first landed on the moon was 1969. When humans last landed on the moon, 1972. And actually, if you read about it, the public interest in human landing trailed off dramatically from 1969 to 1972. Whereas in 1969, the whole world stopped to see the moon landing. In 1972, nobody paid any interest, and that's one of the reasons why we stopped going to the moon. We were paying gazillions amount of money. Well, the US was paying gazillions amount of fighting a war in Vietnam that it could no longer afford. And nobody was paying the blindest bit of interest to it, unfortunately, and that's what almost basically killed off the missions to the moon. Good to see you. I like to hear that, because you're almost, well, I'm almost as old as you. I missed out on it by a few months, but good. So 1969. So final question for the night, and again, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. That's been a couple of hours and I've enjoyed it. Which is the smallest planet in the solar system? And of course, a lot will depend on your definition of a planet. Yeah, it's quite an interesting story about the Apollo. A lot of it was done by hand. We take everything for granted about computers and records, but these guys were working on a day-to-day basis. Some things were designed by a particular group or a particular unit or a particular person, and that knowledge stayed with them. But once they left NASA, that knowledge went with them as well. It was literally a race to the moon, and they were doing everything they can to beat the Russians. Nobody had anticipated a long-term space program. There was a specific reason for this. It was to show American dominance in space, particularly when you had the Russians launching the first satellite, having the first man in space, the first woman in space. So there was a lot of reasons why the information from Apollo was not kept in the best records because nobody thought that far ahead. It was the then and the now they were more concerned about than 20 or 30 years down the line. But we don't want to rely on 30, 40, 50 year technology. You have the Raptor engines from SpaceX, you have the B4 engines. We need new technology, and technology will flow into the wider society as well. And that's, people say, well, why spend all this money in space? Nobody spent any money in space. All the money's going into people who live and work here on Earth. So every penny stays on Earth. Yep. Hello, people. Yes, Mercury is the smallest. So well done to all yous. I'm not sure what the score is. Anybody been keeping track of the score tonight? Because I kind of lost count. So look, obviously some of those questions were aimed at a very generic level, but thanks very much for tuning in. They were actually, at least they sparked off other questions, which was quite good. But I really do appreciate you tuning in. What we will do is going forward, have more certainly space quizzes, and that'll be more structured, and you can vote in, but we'll have more engagement in terms of there's lots happening, even in astronomical discoveries, but also in return to the moon, going to Mars. What happens with the ISS? There's talk about, you heard from NASA recently talking to SpaceX and others about building another space station and things like that. So there's a lot of different things happening, and we can, continue to have chats about it, and it'd be good to engage. You haven't been keeping score. I can, what my pen is for if you're not keeping score. Well, all I can say is, well done to you all. You're all a winner in my book. Yeah, that old one. No losers here. Yeah. No, round two will come up. I'd say as soon as I get some questions together, and it is getting good questions when you're having a quiz. Questions that make you think, but questions, as we've seen tonight, that lead on to other things and prompt other things as well. And I say this is a new system for me. With having the comments pop up, is that good or bad? Did you like that? Is there, I think it's good to see what people are saying as well. But I say I was meant to have Facebook comments coming in, but for some reason all I see is YouTube comments, so I'm gonna have to look at that. So but any suggestions about future quizzes or future subject, if you want to have a discussion on anything, drop it in the comments. We can certainly set it up one night and we can sit and chat away. No problem with that at all. And again, it doesn't matter how many people tune in, it's just a matter of getting together and talking about something that we all like and love and are interested in. And I learn every time I come into this thing, and getting in the age of trying to retain information is difficult for me. It's not learning, it's keeping the information. So thank you very much, folks. It's been a pleasure. And we will do a proper quiz. There's a book I bought recently. It's The Moon in 3D. It's actually by Brian May from Queen, Professor Brian May. So I'm going to do a review of that book on the channel, and then maybe give a copy away as a prize at the next quiz. I was in 3D back in the 80s. Oh, it's old. Yeah. So, but it looks like quite a good book. So I'll review that. And maybe I'll put a copy of that as a prize for the next quiz. But if you've any topics you think would make good quiz questions, put it in to the comments as well, folks. We've been here for 2 hours. I do want to thank you all who have stayed with us, who joined us at the start. I know 2 hours is a long time to hang about and do a quiz that you're not going to win anything at, but thank you very much. It's been certainly interesting for me, and with that I'm going to say good night. Sorry for the technical problems as well, but we did get it sorted. I might just have to keep that little camera going. Yeah. So thank you very much. have a good evening wherever you are, and take care of yourselves, and we'll do this again soon.